been written by G.L. Fuentes. Before you read, they say faith can move mountains, but what should we put for our faith in? This is the question this story delicately poses. Lencho is a farmer who writes a letter to God when his crops are ruined, asking for 100 pesos. Does Lencho's letter reach God? Does God send him the money? Think what your answer to these questions would be and guess how the story continues before you begin to read it. The house, the only one in the entire valley, sat on the crest of a low hill. From this height one could see the river and the field of ripe corn dotted with flowers that always promised a good harvest. The only thing the earth needed was a downpour, or at least a shower. Throughout the morning, Lencho, who knew his fields intimately, had done nothing else but see the sky towards the northeast. Lencho lived in a house which was only one in the entire valley, means in the whole valley. Situated on the crest of a low hill means situated on the top of a low hill. From this height he was able to see river and the field of ripe corn, mature grain dotted with the flowers, means covered with the flowers that always promised a good harvest. It means he was having a good harvest this year. It was his expectation. The only thing the earth needed was a downpour, or at least a shower, means he was expecting that he needed a downpour, a heavy rain, or at least a shower or a light rain. So for the growth of his crop he needed heavy rain or at least a light rain. Throughout the morning Lencho was watching towards the sky in the northeast, and he was knowing his fields intimately, means closely. So he was knowing his fields closely. Now we are really going to get some water, woman. The woman who was preparing supper replied, yes, God willing. The older boys were working in the field while the smaller ones were playing near the house until the woman called them all. Come for dinner. It was during the meal that just as Lencho has predicted, big drops of rain began to fall. In the northeast, huge mountains of clouds could be seen approaching. The air was fresh and sweet. The man went out for no other reason than to have the pleasure of feeling the rain on his body, and when he returned, he exclaimed, these aren't raindrops falling from the sky. They are new coins. The big drops are 10-cent pieces and the little ones are 5. So they said to their lady that they are going to take the water, and woman said that hope so. So when they were taking the dinner, Lencho started to feel rain as he had predicted, as he has forecasted. Big drops of rain began to fall on the earth, and in the northeast huge mountains of clouds, big mountains of clouds could be seen approaching, could be seen coming very fast. The air was fresh and sweet. The air was full of fragrance. The man went out for no other reason than to have the pleasure of feeling the rain on his body. So when the man Lencho went out for feeling the pleasure of rain on his body, and when he returned he exclaimed, these aren't raindrops falling from the sky. They are new coins. So he said that raindrops are like new coins. The big drops are 10-cent pieces and little ones are like 5-cent pieces. With a satisfied expression, he regarded the field of ripe corn with its flowers draped in a curtain of rain. But suddenly a strong wind began to blow, and along with the rain very large hailstones began to fall. These truly did resemble new silver coins. The boys, exposing themselves to the rain, ran out to collect the frozen pearls. So he was completely satisfied when he saw his field, which was covered with raindrops. It was draped, it was covered in a curtain of rain, but suddenly the scene changed. He saw strong winds. He began to feel that there was a strong wind began to blow, and along with the rain there were hailstones which started falling on the earth. These hailstones were like new silver coins, and the boys started to collect those silver coins which were like frozen pearls. So we can see the use of metaphor in this line, frozen pearls, because hailstones, they were like frozen pearls. They were white like pearls and they were frozen. It is really getting a bad now, exclaimed the man. I hope it passes quickly. It did not pass quickly. For an hour the hail rained on the house, the garden, the hillside, the cornfield, on the whole valley. The field was white as if covered with salt. Not a leaf remained on the trees. The corn was totally destroyed. The flowers were gone from the plants. Lencho's soul was filled with sadness. When the stones had passed, he stood in the middle of the field and said to his son, a plague of locusts would have left more than this. The hail has left nothing. This year we will have no corn. So for Lencho it was very bad. He thought that everything would be all right and the hailstones will pass very soon, but it didn't happen. They continued for an hour, and for an hour hail rained on his house, garden, hillside, cornfield, and on the whole valley. The whole field was full of white salt. Not a single leaf remained on the trees. The corn was totally destroyed. The flowers, they all vanished from the plant. Lencho's soul was filled with sadness and depression. He was completely filled with grief. When the storm had passed, he stood in the middle of the field and said to his son, a plague of locusts would not have been so horrible than this rain and hailstones. So now we can again see the use of metaphor in the line, a plague of locusts. The hail has left nothing. This year we will have no corn. He said and felt. He was so sad, he felt that this hail has left nothing in the field and they will have no corn this year. That night was a sorrowful one. All our work for nothing. There is no one who can help us. We shall all go hungry this year. It was his feeling, it was his realization that they will not have work nor they will have crop this year and they will go hungry this year. Now there are some questions which you have to answer. What did Lencho hope for? Why did Lencho say the raindrops were like silver coins? Number 3, how did the rain change? What happened to Lencho's fields? What were Lencho's feelings when the hail stopped? Now we are coming to the second part of the chapter. But in the hearts of all who lived in that solitary house in the middle of the valley, there was a single hope, help from God. Don't be so upset, even though this seems like a total loss. Remember, no one dies of hunger. That is what they say, no one dies of hunger. All through the night, Lencho thought only of his one hope, the help of God, whose eyes, as he had been instructed, see everything, even what is deep in one's conscience. Lencho was an ox of a man working like an animal in the fields, but still he knew how to write. The following Sunday, at daybreak, he began to write a letter which he himself would carry to town and place in the mail. It was nothing less than a letter to God. So, in the hearts of hearts, he was having one hope that he would have the help from God. He thought continuously he thought that he should not be upset, he should not be sad on this, he should not be sad on the total loss which he faced, and he always thought that no one dies of hunger because of the grace of God. So he was thinking about the grace of God. He thought only of one hope. He had unshaken faith in God. He always thought that God's eyes can see everything, even what is deep inside the man's heart. So Lencho, although he was a very hardworking man like an ox, he knew how to write. He was able to write. That is why on the following Sunday at the daybreak in the morning, he began to write a letter to God. He himself carried the letter to the town and placed it in the mailbox, and it was nothing less than a letter to God. God, he wrote, if you don't help me, my family and I will go hungry this year. I need 100 peso in order to sow my field again and to live until the crop comes, because the hail is strong. So he started writing and addressing God, and he wrote to God if he doesn't help him, his family and he would go hungry this year. He needed 100 pesos in order to sow his field again and to live meanwhile, because hailstorm has destroyed his crop. He wrote to God on the envelope, put the letter inside, and still troubled, went to town. At the post office, he placed a stamp on the letter and dropped it into the mailbox. So he wrote to God on the envelope, put the letter into the mail, and although he was having trouble, he went to town himself. At the post office, he placed a stamp on the letter and dropped it into the mailbox. One of the employees, who was a postman and who also helped at the post office, went to his boss laughing heartily and showed him the letter to God. Never in his career as a postman had he known that address. The postmaster, a fat, amiable fellow, also broke out laughing, but almost immediately he turned serious and, tapping the letter on his desk, commented, "What faith! I wish I had the faith of the man who wrote this letter, starting up a correspondence with God." So a postmaster was watching him doing all this, and he took the letter to the postman who was sitting in the post office, and postmaster also started laughing to see that letter. Postmaster, who was a fat and amiable means joking type of person, funny man, he started laughing to see this letter. He immediately turned serious when he saw the letter, tapping the letter on his desk. He commented, he said, "This man had immense faith in God. I wish I would have the faith of the man who wrote this letter." He was surprised to see that the man has started correspondence, communicating through the letter with God. So, in order not to shake the writer's faith in God, the postmaster came up with an idea. Answer the letter. But when he opened it, it was evident that to answer it, he needed something more than goodwill, ink and paper. But he stuck to his resolution. He asked for money from his employees. He himself gave part of his salary, and several friends of his were obliged to give something for an act of charity. So he did not want to shake the writer's faith in God. That is why he had an idea. He thought that he would answer the letter. He opened it, and after opening it, it was clear that in order to answer the letter, he needed more than goodwill. He needed money. So he was stuck to his resolution. He was fixed to his decision. He asked for money from his employees. He himself gave some part of his salary and asked for money to several of his friends to give some money as an act of charity. It was impossible for him to gather together the 100 pesos, so he was able to send the farmer only a little more than half. He put the money in an envelope addressed to Lencho, and with it a letter containing only a single word as a signature God. So what did he do? It was impossible for him to collect 100 peso. He was not able to send 100 peso. He only sent more than half of that amount. He put the money into the envelope addressed to Lencho and write the signature of God. Now there are some other questions that you have to answer. Number 1, who or what did Lencho have faith in? What did he do? Second, who read the letter? Third, what did the postmaster do then? Now third part of the story. The following Sunday, Lencho came a bit earlier than usual to ask if there was a letter for him. It was the postmaster himself who handed the letter to him, while the postmaster, experiencing the contentment of a person who has performed a good deed, looked on from his office. So the next Sunday, Lencho came a bit earlier. He came earlier than usual if there was a letter for him. It was the postman himself who handed the letter to him, while the postmaster was watching him from the window. He wanted to see the expressions of that man. Actually, he himself has done a good job, so he watched him from his office. Lencho showed not the slightest surprise on seeing the money. Such was his confidence. But he became angry when he counted the money. God could not have made a mistake, nor could he have denied Lencho what he had requested. Lencho was not surprised at all on seeing the money. It was his confidence, it was his faith. He was having the faith that God should send him 100 peso. But he was extremely angry to see. He became angry to see when he counted the money. He thought that God could not have made a mistake, nor could he have refused Lencho what he had requested. So he was thinking that there is somewhat mistake in giving the money to him through post. Immediately, Lencho went up to the window to ask for paper and ink. On the public writing table, he started to write with much wrinkling of his brow, caused by the effort he had to make to express his ideas. When he finished, he went to the window to buy a stamp, which he licked and then affixed to the envelope with a blow of his fist. The moment the letter fell into the mailbox, the postmaster went to open it. It said, God, of the money that I asked for, only 70 pesos reached me. Send me the rest since I need it very much. But don't send it to me through the mail because the post office employees are a bunch of crooks. Lencho. So Lencho, when he went to the post office and asked for letter, paper and ink, he wrote to God that he should send him the money not through post, because 70 pesos had reached to him. So send the rest of money since he needed it very much, but don't send it through mail because post office employees are dishonest persons. Now this is the point that he is doubting on the behavior of those people who showed goodwill to him, who were generous to him. Now there are 3 points to discuss here. First thing is this: Lencho was a very innocent person. Second, he had unshakable faith in God. And third, he was doubting on the generosity of postmaster and postman. Now there are again two questions that you have to discuss. Was Lencho surprised to find a letter for him with money in it? And second, what made him angry? Thank you.